Well, hey, Sun Valley, excited to have a couple minutes today to talk more about ways that we can see and be God's grace in our everyday lives. Well, it was about 3 years ago where I found myself in a situation where my daughter Tyler and I had to move from where we were living, and we had to get out now. I was new on staff at Sun Valley, and it was the first week of the Christmas season, and I just knew that I lacked the resources of both time and money to make this move happen. Well, a couple weeks later, my mom was visiting, and while she was here, she got a call from a couple from our home church in California. They were traveling through Arizona and wanted to know if they could just take us to dinner. Well, I didn't want to go. I mean, it was my day off. I didn't have the extra time, and I just really didn't want to go. But I did go and didn't think anything of it after that. Well, about another week later, Craig, the gentleman who takes us out, he reaches out again and lets us know that he and his wife Denny talked about this, and they wanted to pay for all of my moving expenses. He wanted to pay for the security deposit and the U-Haul down payment and the utilities and any other expenses that we had. And within just a couple of days, I found an apartment available for immediate move-in, and so that's what we did. You know, the blessings that we received through that random gift of generosity was more than we had words to describe. Because you see, what Craig didn't know is that I had been desperately praying, asking God to make provisions for this move to happen. And if he could do it quickly, that would be even better. But what Craig did know was that the Spirit tapped him on the shoulder to do this for us. And so he did. I particularly liked the fact that Craig didn't make it awkward. He made it clear that this was a free gift. He told me what a joy it was that God asked them to help meet a need for me when God could have chosen a multitude of other ways to provide. You know, I know that God loves to pour his grace on us, his favor, and to watch the joy and the pleasure that it brings to us. And yet, for as much as he enjoys doing this for us, I believe that he loves even more when we share the goodness in our lives to be goodness on his behalf in the lives of others. And, you know, sometimes I think we would like to be a blessing for others, but there's something that holds us back. You know, maybe we glance at the obvious resources that we have, such as our money and our time and the things we have, and we feel like we don't have enough extra to give away. Or maybe we just fear that we can never get back what we give up. And yet God has a plan much greater than that. And today I just want to highlight a couple of really great things regarding how highly God values the blessings that were for us to now be used as blessings for others. In chapter 9 of 2 Corinthians, Paul is sharing with people from the church in Corinth, emphasizing the fact that they can trust God with sharing their resources to benefit others. And he paints this picture of what generosity plus trusting God looks like together, where there is abundant goodness for everyone and where scarcity becomes less of a threat. And then in verse 8, he drives it home by saying something that we all love to hear, which is this. He says, and God is able to bless you abundantly, so that in all things, at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every great work. And you know what that means? It means that we will have excess. We will be overflowing in what we need to do good work for others. And this passage is so exciting because it's a win-win for all of us. And being from a money-saturated culture, I just want to point this out, that God's grace and favor, it isn't just monetary. See, it includes anything that you have supply of that you can give away. Perhaps you have time right now in your life, which just might actually be the most precious resource of all. How can you invest some of your time in a way that matters? Maybe you have skills or expertise where you could help someone fix something in their home or a car that hasn't been working. Or you could tutor a struggling student in school. Are you gifted in the kitchen? Maybe you could bake something for someone lonely or overlooked. Do you own a truck? Maybe someone could use help moving this week. Perhaps you've had a lot of pain in your life, and what you have is empathy. Could you invest in listening and encouraging and being a sounding board for someone else who's experiencing pain and loss and grief? There are a few of you who are even great with numbers. You could potentially help a widow figure out how to run the finances of her home now. Are you a connector? What a gift it would be for you to use your relational equity to help someone find a job. You know, being givers of God's grace, it's not as much about a grand gesture as it is about the posture of our heart. And so I just want to close today by asking you this. What's something that you can give for free to someone else, allowing them to be blessed by God's abundant grace? Perhaps you can already think of something or someone that you could bless today or sometime this week, or it may take you a few days to make further preparations. But more than anything, let's be rivers of God's grace, of all of his abundant favor in our lives, and not just be reservoirs where the grace that he's given to us goes no further. Because our God is able to bless you abundantly, so that in all things, at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. Praying that God will be tapping lots of shoulders this week and that one of them will be yours.